It is a great honor having you in Huffington Post, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
What is it that inspires you?
Nice question to begin with. It's a vast question to begin with. If you mean specifically about the work that I make, it's about the way that, and many people dismiss this as something that is an irrelevance, but the way that the past lives inside of us, not just through memory, but somehow is embodied in us. And this relationship between the past and the present being completely conjoined and a future-shaping force.
So the past is in our DNA?
Indeed, that is true scientifically, but I think that it also is inside us in different ways, both in intergenerational memory, in the way memory is sometimes stored in the materials that we've lived around for long periods of our lives. Their experiences from the deep past can somehow live inside us.
What is it in the ancient Greek civilization that moves you most?
Again, in a way, it's about its connection to contemporaneity. So one of the things that I'm very interested in exploring in both the photographic work that I make, as you know from having seen it, which is often around museum collections and collections based here. It's the figure, the human figure that over time has not changed very much at all, but when we stand with these sculptures that populate museums in Athens and other parts of Greece, I believe that before we think about what we feel, we have this embodied response to it somehow. Somehow, without trying, there's this direct communication between not only the form that we share, but the scale that when it's at one-to-one human scale that we share. I mean, obviously, if it's an enormous sculpture, that changes, but when we're with another person who's kind of is alive, we have a direct bodily communication. And I believe that happens with the sculptural works too, from the deep past.
Your sculptures seem like a modern version of the ancient Greek sculpture. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure that I can agree with that.
You don't agree?
No, it's not that.
Because I was thinking before an interview, and I really admire your work, but I believe that.
Thank you, that's very generous of you. I have enormous respect for the artisans and the artists of the deep past, and particularly in the various periods of Greek history. When I talked before about this embodied connection that we feel, often these figures that we look at from the deep past are damaged, they're injured, and I'm interested in how that plays out with our own soft ephemeral bodies. And I'm also interested in the way that in museums they use technologies in conservation departments which most people don't see. They're behind the scenes work in these museums. But we're familiar with those technologies from x-rays of our own bodies when they're injured. So again, in the expanded field of photography, there's this relationship between the damaged and broken stone bodies of antiquity and our own soft ephemeral bodies.
What made you choose Greece Athens?
I didn't realize I was interested in history. This might sound absurd, but I didn't realize that, and certainly not exploring it through different methodologies of art making until 2005. Since then, I've become more and more and more interested in historical artifacts and how the second life or the contemporary life of ancient objects rather than the past life of those objects.
What are we going to see in your exhibition on Saturday in Santorίνη?
Yeah, the exhibition which is titled Hybridities. Well, the exhibition itself, it's a title which folds in on itself because in a way you're saying the same thing twice, and that was an intentional strategy. So the exhibition...
What is the purpose? What is your purpose?
To explore the unexpected hybridities that we live with on a day-to-day basis. So these are emotional hybridities, psychological hybridities, these things that are more ineffable than the more obvious way of thinking about hybridities, which are the material-based hybridities. So what I'm presenting is a series of sculptures
and photographs?
And photographs.
Okay.
And as an entity, as if the exhibition can be thought of as an entity, the work is all made here in Greece, actually. All of the work has been made here. The first work, the earliest work is from 2001, which are two photographs which combine as a photographic diptych. It's quite large, it's about 2 meters by 1 meter. Those photographs were photographed, the images were captured during the second lockdown here. And I think this is important photographically, and I was reminded of this by the woman in Australia who I do my printing with, my analog black and white printing, because they're shot on film. And she said, "Oh, Andrew, one day when we were in the dark room, you just commented that these photographs can never be made again because of the quality of the light and the quality of the air. The air was so clean during those lockdown periods. And it was the winter time that I was shooting in as well. So there's early work, what I think of as early in terms of my Greek experience. And then the most recent work was finished in the middle of August. A bronze work, which is a hybrid, which is a historical hybrid, but also a vegetal hybrid. It's a sculpture which is approximately 2 meters long, and it's the branches of trees. It's an impossible branch in that it doesn't have a stem. It's just like two branches like this, if you like. And at one end, it's a eucalypt tree. It's the eucalypt globulus, and the other end is a wild olive.
Can't wait to come in Santorini and admire your work.
You must.
Why Santorini?
It was a wonderful invitation from a dear friend of mine who I like very much, and we work exceptionally well together, Lucia.
Lucia is a great friend.
Indeed.
We're going to watch her interview very soon.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So it was an unexpected invitation to present a solo show in her new gallery there.
Tomorrow we'll be there.
I look forward to it very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And all the best from my heart.
Thank you very much.